Hello, my name's Tim Burks. I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about the importance of doing a good pre-trip. We do these for a number of reasons. Number one, it's a requirement by law. But number two, it's so that we can ensure and you can ensure as a driver that your truck is going to be safe. When you're doing that good quality pre-trip, you should be making sure that you're paying close attention to your tires, your air systems, your cooling systems, your braking systems, all of your safety systems that you have, whether it's your emergency triangles, your four-ways, your flashers, making sure everything on the truck is properly secure. Today, we're going to focus on a few of those particular items. For your general routine maintenance items that need to be repaired, you should seek our shops to get those done. Our on-road department is for emergency services only. That means the truck is broke down, you've got a big nail in a tire, or you've developed a major air leak, or you've got something else that's going on with the truck that's preventing it from running. That's when you contact the on-road department. I'm going to walk you through how to properly check your tires. We run all of our tires at 110 PSI. You take and you firmly press your tire gauge into it and you pull it out and you get a reading as to what that pressure is. You want to try and check them when they're cold because that's going to give you the most accurate pressure. Make sure that all of your lug nuts and everything are securely fastened. You want to give the tire a good visual inspection all the way around. Check your tread depth. And when you check your tread depth, take it from 2 or 3 different readings, right? So that you can see how many 30 seconds are on that tire, okay? If you look right here, they have a built-in tread wear indicator. When you can see that indicator is even with the tread, that means that tire is too low. You're going to look for those same things on the drive tire and the trailer tires. As a driver, it's important that you're paying close attention to what your charging system's doing as you're driving down the road. Your battery voltages should be somewhere between 13 to 14 volts. All of our battery boxes are located right below the driver's door. You want to be looking for the battery, see if there's any signs of leakage, any swelling, or any rotten egg or gas smell, okay? If you're smelling like a rotten egg or a gas, that means that battery's venting and you need to get the truck to a shop so that we can get that taken care of for you. Also, just doing a quick grab to make sure all your connections are tight. Next, I would like to talk to you about the air systems on the trucks. Make sure that you drain water out of your tanks every single day. Every truck has 3 drain cables on them. If you look right here where this back battery is and you reach your hand up here, you will feel all 3 cables. And all you need to do is give that cable a little pull, right? And then you grab the next cable, give it a little pull, and the next cable, another pull. Walk around the entire truck and pay close attention to any air leaks that you may have. You've got your emergency and you've got your service side along with your pigtail. It's important that when you're doing your pre-trip that you're inspecting these lines to make sure that there's no cuts, frays, or any cracking in them. Make sure you don't have any corrosion or anything inside your pigtail. If you see signs of corrosion, clean it out. A good thing to clean it out with is battery terminal cleaner. You want to make sure none of your brake hoses are rubbing on anything and that there's no cracks or frayness on them. And you want to make sure that you're listening for any air leaks around your brake chamber. You have 4 brake chambers back here, 2 on the rear and 2 on the front. Same thing, you want to listen for any air leaks. You want to look at your air lines to make sure that they're not rubbing, cracked, or frayed. Make sure you check all 4, okay? You can check them pretty easy from the sides. You can also check them very easily by going underneath, but it's important that we pay close attention to that and we're listening for any air leaks and make sure none of our air lines are hanging down or rubbing against each other. It's also important that when you're checking the system for any leaks is that you're paying close attention to your airbags, right? Same thing, you're listening for any hissing sounds, but you're mainly making sure that they have pressure in them, they're not flat. Another thing that you want to check for any air leaks is on your 5th wheel slide release, which is right here. It's controlled by this bottom, and it's usually a gray air hose. And your 5th wheel air release, which is the thicker black one that sits up top. When you're checking your belts, these are the things that you need to look for. Most of our trucks have 2 serpentine belts. Unless it's a Detroit, then it has 1. So you're looking for any frays on this belt, and you want to make sure when you look at the grooves that there's no major cracking or anything. Most of these belts today are going to last over 400,000 miles, but it is still something that you need to check. And then on the Cummins, they have a secondary serpentine belt that runs the air conditioner. It's a much smaller belt, but you're looking for the exact same things on that belt. If you're driving and you notice your AC's not working as good as it should, you need to notify your driver leader so we can get you to a shop to get it checked. All of these trucks come with dye in them. So if you see any green color around any of this or any major oil on this, that's a good indicator that you may have a leak in the AC system. Also, while you're here on this side, this is a good time to do a visual inspection to see how much windshield washer fluid you have. It's important that you always make sure you got good windshield washer fluid, especially when you get into the winter weather when it gets really cold, or you may be driving in bad storms and snow and those types of things, so that you make sure this is full so you don't have any problems with keeping your windshield clean. One of the last things that I want to talk to you about today is doing your pre-trip, looking at your exhaust systems. And mind you, I didn't cover all of the items you're supposed to do during your pre-trip today. I'm just covering the ones that we're seeing the most common issues with to bring a little bit extra of awareness to you as drivers. When you start doing your exhaust system inspection, it's a good idea to do that last as you have the truck running so that you can visually hear any exhaust leaks. But you also want to look for any type of soot buildup. You'll start with checking the exhaust manifold. Look at the turbo, make sure you're not seeing anything here. Check your flanges here. And then now you're starting to get back here to where the exhaust actually comes out. You want to check around these clamps. If you start seeing any soot or blackness on here, that's a good indicator that there's a leak, right? You want to check this to make sure there's no cracks or breaks in it, and feel back here to make sure that there's no black soot or anything building up. One of the common issues that we see is that a driver will be driving, they will get an emissions fault that shows up onto the dash, okay? It's important that if you see that emissions fault, that you stop, you look up, see what the code is, and at that point you should probably call On-Road, give them the code. What you don't want to do is just keep driving and not tell anybody about it, because what will happen eventually is that truck will go into D-rate mode. And once it goes into D-rate mode, there's nothing we can do except have it towed. The last thing I want to talk to you about is your trailers. The most common things that we see on trailers is air leaks, the tandem air lines hanging down or rubbing the ground. There should be a spring underneath there that holds them. Same things, making sure those air lines aren't rubbing, making sure your brake chambers aren't leaking, your brake chamber air lines aren't rubbing or frayed or damaged. And making sure all your lights work, and also checking the federal inspection. If you need extra bungee cords or if you need extra glad hand garments, you can get those at any one of our parts rooms. A spare headlight bulb you can get at any one of our parts rooms. You can also get extra fuses to be able to carry in the truck in case you blow a fuse. You can get one, you can replace it. And then we'll even give you an extra mud flap in case you lose a mud flap. You can definitely have one. I highly recommend that every driver in our fleet has a basic toolkit of your standard and metric sockets and wrenches and a couple screwdrivers and a good pair of pliers and a good flashlight. There's a lot of things that may happen out there that you can take the time yourself, tighten a quick bolt, put a quick mud flap on, or tighten up a hose clamp that will prevent us from having to set up road service and ultimately saves you a ton of time. So in closing today, just a quick reminder, all these things that I showed you today are things that we should be focusing on during our pre-trip. As I mentioned, I did not cover all the pre-trip items. I just covered the high items that we see on-road failures with. And if we do these and we do these pre-trips correctly, you can catch problems before they lead you to having a breakdown over the road, and you can get those trucks to our shops and get that item fixed. I would also like to remind you to please refer to your flow codes, especially as it pertains to the pre-trip. There's a whole video out there that walks you through the pre-trip in great detail. I highly encourage you to watch that video. Appreciate everything that you guys do for us. I encourage you to please take advantage of this video today and make sure that we're doing good pre-trips and post-trips every day so that we can increase your uptime and we can make sure that we're doing our best to keep our costs in line with where they need to be.